Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to just a terrific episode of the High Five Guys. We're your hosts. We've been your hosts since day one, but you get to see us again. You get to hear us again. It's Todd and Chris on the helm of the High Five Guys show, where we give out some positive vibes, spread a lot of those positive vibes. We give out some high fives, have some fun topics, maybe a laugh here or there, and then go about your day. But this is our time to spend with you.
Wow. I feel like that was your most different intro. like if I added up all the words of your other intros and just, like did a word analysis, I think that one was 80% different from all your other ones.
So I'm trying to expand my vocabulary and stop
Okay.
saying
Okay.
so, okay,
All right. I like it. That is probably a good way to do it. Yeah, you got some new words in there.
I did. I'm excited. I've been prepping that for weeks.
New words. You just like 4 or 5 words just made their debut on the show.
We'll see what people think. Hopefully, we get some more likes and we'll get some more new words. That could be a new segment of the show.
Yeah, give us some words to use.
That's right.
Okay,
You know
I
what?
like it.
I
I
actually
like
think
it.
that's kind of fun. We could do
I like
that.
it.
Oh
I
man,
like
I
it.
think
That's gonna be
that's
funny.
also
Yeah.
it's a problem when you and I don't get to speak too much. So we actually haven't really talked too much in the last week or so. We've got different lives. We're 3 hours apart,
Yep.
and
Yep.
so it makes it fun when we get to see each other and do these podcasts. And before we kind of kick things off, I just want to give a quick intro in terms of what we're talking about in this podcast today. It's going to be fun. Certainly something Todd and I can relate to, and I think many of you who are listening and tuning in can relate to, and it's about sports. I think we've got some favorite sports that we like to play. We've got favorite sports we like to watch. We've got sports that we don't think are very fun and maybe don't even consider sport. We'll talk about all that in today's episode.
No controversy there. I don't see any controversy coming up on that front.
So I think it's gonna be fun. It'll be a great episode. We'll hit up some high fives at the end of the week or at the end of the episode like we always do. I think Todd, it's been so long, and that's why I'm just like, what's going on? How have you been? What's new? What's going on in your world?
I've been good actually. Yeah. It's now kind of blazing hot these days. So just making the most out of that, getting out there in the sun. Just various sort of athletic stuff going on. I mean, just the other night I went out. The shows are all outside these days. Kyle invited me over. So one of our
Nice.
guests that we had on, right, barbecue on Sunday. So went over, did that. We had some great food. Went around his complex. We were playing frisbee for like an hour. It's probably like the most frisbee I've ever played in my life. We were just chucking it and then like the guy testosterone kicks in, and after a while you're both going for like your all-time distance record and stuff.
I love it. Did you
Yeah.
measure it? Did you win?
No, but we actually have a pretty good way of measuring it because where he lives, he's got this sort of like basin area, right, of where that's all grass covered, and basically the longest throws went from like one edge to the other.
Okay.
It drops down, right? It's like this tub type thing. So one lip to the
Yeah.
other was pretty close to like what the longest couple throws were.
I mean, what are you thinking? Maybe 50 yards? Probably longer than that.
Ooh.
I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know what you would measure that in.
More than 50. Yeah, I'm pretty good with those distances from playing all the golf.
Yeah.
That's a really relevant topic, right? What's your distance? Might be like 70.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a decent distance. And actually, you know what? Kyle backed up behind the edge. He threw it from like the neighbor's front grass. So yeah, it was actually even farther than that. Yeah. So
Okay. Nice.
actually might be like 80, if I had to guess.
Listen. I think this sounds like an Olympic sport coming soon.
Yeah.
Frisbee throwing.
Yeah, let's see. So that oh god, my mixer got lost at the last show. That was very random, weird thing. Just
Wow. Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
a big component to have.
yeah, it just somehow didn't make its way home. I also had I also had a laptop in the backpack that was in. So not the most fun thing to happen, but
Oh
just
wow.
yeah, it
Okay.
just poofed. It just ghosted. So I got a new one today. I went
Okay.
into the Guitar Center and got a new one today. But yeah,
So you didn't go to Sam Ash.
I did not. So how about you? What have you been doing?
So yeah, this week played some pickleball, like you said, outside, trying to just enjoy it as much as possible. Over the weekend with Father's Day, did something fun. First time for me. So first for me was actually a car show, and
Oh,
so my car was in the car show along with
are you
others.
serious?
Yeah,
the
uh,
the Audi.
the Audi was in the car show,
Wow.
and it was only there was only one other orange car there. There were a couple yellow ones. Amazing time though. So this was right near the horse racing track, and what was really cool, we had a super day. Sunday was just a wonderful day weather-wise, and with Father's Day, I think it was a great way for people to just spend time with their dads and just families and just be out. So there was close to 150 different cars, which was really nice. So they said a bigger turnout than last year,
Mm.
and I didn't win any awards. I wasn't planning on winning awards, but I think it was really cool, just like my first experience to be there, to have people like looking at your car a little bit. Is kind of, it was interesting. You don't want to be that like narcissistic, oh, this is my car, but there was quite a bit of time where I actually walked around and got to just look at the other cars that were there.
What were the
Really.
types of cars? What? Yeah,
So
what was the kind
yeah,
of theme?
so all over the place. So that's a good question. There wasn't a theme in terms of, is it
Oh,
muscle cars? Is it exotic cars, sport cars? It was all over the place. So actually, parked next to me was a 1934 Plymouth something. I
oh
mean,
my
this thing, it was a
god!
sharp looking vehicle. There was a Cadillac next to mine, and a lot of people resonated with that, maybe from movies or shows, and like, oh my god, look at this thing.
Oh,
Uh,
just like your big old boat, like
yes,
cruising,
it was
90s hip
massive,
hop videos type one. Yeah, okay.
massive Cadillac, and anything in between. There
DeVille
was
or
a
something like that.
yeah,
DeVille, yeah,
yeah.
something like that, right? Yeah, okay.
There were a number of Ferraris. There was a really beautiful
Wow,
dark blue, like 1960s Ferrari, I think 250 GTB. I mean, these things are
wow,
400,000 $400,000.
wow.
There was a Murcielago, a Lamborghini Murcielago. I've never seen one in person before. That actually won Best of Show. It was a
Mm.
2008, and yeah, there's a Ferrari 488 Pista with this red
Wow,
interior that reminded me of like a 1990s 80s type car that had the red velvet seats. This thing, it was kind of
wow.
fun and really cool. There was some really
That's pretty
cool
fun. Yeah.
vehicles there. Yeah,
So it's just like car show.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Saratoga
Just we're
Automobile
having a car
Museum
show.
car
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Exactly. And they
Cool.
gave out tickets to go to the car show, or the car
Yeah.
show, to the Automobile Museum. So Joe and I will end up going to that at some point. We trying to just work on schedules and go. They've got a Ferrari F1 exhibit at the Automobile Museum. So I
That's
have to go check that out.
awesome. Oh, like yeah, like so they're F1
Yeah.
cars that they've got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen one in person. I was at the Wynn Hotel in Vegas.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
I think it was the Mercedes team one, like Lewis Hamilton
Yeah.
car. It's so awesome to see. It's bigger than I expected. It's longer than I expected.
Okay. So longer than like a four-door sedan, you would say?
I
Longer
think
than your
maybe
Tesla.
so. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely
Okay.
longer than that. Maybe not compared to the Coupe de Ville, but like longer than I expected. I guess that's the way of
It's
saying it. And wide, and just this beast looking thing. They're pretty
yeah,
awesome in person.
awesome. I look forward to checking it out. I've seen. I don't know if I can't say I've seen an F1 car in
That's the only
person.
one I've seen.
Yeah, like that. So yeah, it was a great weekend, and like you said, also just hot. Like this week is hot. We're toasty. It's 94 outside today up here, and yeah,
Was it that
just
high?
yeah.
Oh, I think it was hotter by you then. I think we were. I mean, I know my car was saying 96 something, but I don't think that was true. I think it was more like 90, maybe 89, something like that.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
getting
know, but
toasty.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
90 is
Exactly.
yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
spring,
Yeah.
everybody. So I did post something on my Instagram story. I think my ideal temperatures, if you were to ask me, 45 at night. I'll give you upper 40s, upper
Mm.
40s at night, and then 70 for a high, sunny and 70.
Oh wow.
That's yeah.
See,
I don't
I'm
need
good
much
with it
warmer.
going higher. I have this weird, nobody would know, but like for me, like I have this bad circulation in my hands and my feet, and I think it
Yeah,
contributes to like somewhat, like not as much the rest of my body, but I actually like do better warming up, let's say for sports or golf or something, right? I'm actually good when it's like hot,
okay, yep.
because it keeps me like with a little bit of a sweat going and just kind of fully warmed up, like everything's freely flowing.
Yeah,
Even
and
if
the
it's
blood
like,
going, yep.
yeah, even if it's 70, but like low 70, I can start cooling off a little bit.
Okay.
And it's not
Yeah.
quite as good for me for like, let's say like peak athletic performance. And I grew up playing soccer out in like, going to soccer camps in like 95-degree weather and stuff. So I'm not that type that melts in the extreme heat. As long as I
Yeah.
have enough water, I'm good.
Great. No, I appreciate you sharing that. I know there's some people that said you guys are both crazy. It needs to be 90.
Yeah,
for me
yeah,
to survive.
yeah. I mean, obviously, it can be oppressive, and a lot of times it's great to be like at the beach or something, right? That's what really regulates the temperature. You get that nice like ocean breeze,
Yeah.
and that's awesome, even when it's blazing out. But yeah, I don't know. All
Yeah.
right, we're back from our advertising break, right? Or stop. We
Yeah.
just did that good commercial.
And I didn't even get a chance to see it. There was
Yeah,
a bit of stuff going on in the back end that
yeah.
had
Yeah,
to
yeah, it
had to
was
resolve.
very good products. Awesome products. I recommend everybody buy all of them.
I look forward to seeing it when I
Yeah.
run this video back. Oh gosh, so yeah, you lucked out, and everybody else did too. Um, but no, I think now it's a good time to hit up on sports and talk about sports, everything you want about sports. I mean, I will say it's been a big part. It's probably a bigger part of my life now, even than when it was when I was younger in a different capacity.
Mhm.
I play more sport now. I think I actually used to watch more sports when I was younger.
All right.
So,
Interesting. Okay.
um, yeah, well, we could dive into that. And I think well, we could before we kick that off, Todd. What would you say to that in terms of playing versus watching? Where are you at now versus where you were at
Oh,
when you were
I
younger?
mean, when I was younger, I was a junkie playing. I was playing sports like every day of the week, pretty much. Go to school, come back, go down the street. We're playing tackle football at my neighbor's lawn. A little bit later, a lot of time I had a basketball court right up the street. It was a park.
Nice.
I would
Yep.
go there. I was, especially when I was on a kick. I mean, probably went there 200 days out of the year. Well, not quite that. I mean, we have winter, but
Yeah.
during
Yep.
the times you could play, maybe 70% of all those days I was there for a couple of years. So I don't play sports nearly at that level now, but yeah,
Yeah.
ton of
Awesome.
playing as a kid, but a lot of watching too.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of sports too.
Oh, terrific. And I think what's interesting, for this episode, we've got a lot of commentary back and forth, and look forward to hearing more about your sport. I'll call it influences over the years. Americans. I feel like we've got to start with a list. I said Americans. Why did I say Americans? I don't know, but I found a list for everybody that is a U.S. citizen, an American favorite sport to watch. And I think it's interesting. So this does say to watch versus play. I think
And this is very recent.
this was actually February of this year from
Okay,
Gallup.
this year. Yeah, okay, this year. Yep.
And Gallup surveys are usually they're good. So really interesting. I'll read the top 10 and then
Oh, okay.
I'll
Yep.
read one other thing, and then just love your thoughts on it. So this
Yeah.
is what is your favorite sport to watch? Top 10 list in order: football, baseball, basketball, soccer, ice hockey, auto racing, figure skating, tennis, golf, MMA. And now what's interesting is none or no opinion was actually, I would say, the 10th. It was the second highest ranked option. I'm not including that in the top 10, but there were 12%
Oh, you
of
mean that would have been
that
number 2?
12. So football was 41% of people said they like watching football, or at least mentioned football.
Yeah.
12% of people said they don't have a favorite sport or they don't have an opinion on that. And
Oh,
I think,
wow. Yeah, yeah.
what's your thought on that?
But also 12 is the number 2. That's the drop from football.
Yes.
So then, oh my God, the next actual sport is now a bigger drop. So football is at least 4 times as big as the next thing.
Yep. Baseball was second at 10. So 10. Baseball and basketball were close, so 10 and 9.
4 times.
Yes.
Wow. I'm a little surprised at just that exact ratio. I mean, I think you feel it, obviously, right? That NFL is just an endless powerhouse. It's a year-round thing now, right? The draft is a giant thing. The combine's a huge thing. Off-season acquisitions and stuff, like all of that all makes news.
It's a big deal, right? You know, people have a lot of time and interest, vested in that.
People are gearing up for fantasy like now already, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I will say, yeah, as much as I clearly know that it occupies a huge role. Like I'm still surprised that that ratio, that multiple is pretty surprising.
Yep. And after basketball, so baseball, basketball are 10 and 9. Soccer, ice hockey, auto racing is 5, 4, 3 in terms of percent mentions. Wow. So those are the next 3: soccer, ice hockey, auto racing.
And the way you said, the way it was phrased, you had to say, what's your favorite? People are
what is your favorite sport to watch?
Yeah. Your one favorite to watch. So yeah, I mean, I bet things would probably be a little different if you said like rank your top 3 or something like that, right?
Yep.
You get into the more obscure stuff, whatever else. But yeah, that is wow. It's an interesting list.
Now, if I may, because I want your thoughts on this. My friends give me crap all the time about this, and I want to share with you my opinion, but I want your opinion.
Yeah.
So auto racing is on here, and I get a lot of flack. I will say my best friends, my friends say that I think they consider that a sport. They do not consider the driver as an athlete. Now, I love your. So my thought is, having said that, if sure, the car is what's being moved around, but if you don't think the drivers are athletes, then in my opinion, so even just looking at this list, in football, then the football is the athlete. People are just there, to make sure the football goes from point A to point B. Then fine, you know what? They're not an athlete. The football is an athlete.
Here's a question. Have you polled the same people if they think, just by chance, that a jockey in a horse race is an athlete? I would love to hear that answer from, those same people, right? Because I honestly, maybe at some point in the past, I may have said not an athlete. I am definitely not of that opinion at this point. Like I got a little bit into F1, right? That Drive to Survive, right?
Yeah, the show, right?
That got me into it, and then I started watching a little bit, and just all you need to do is watch 10 seconds of the cockpit view of the worst driver on the circuit going around a lap at whatever easiest track there is.
Yeah.
It's the most insane thing that I've ever seen. Like of all sports, that looks like the most insane thing that anyone, other than like, let's say, okay, the extreme athleticism you need to like dunk from the free throw line or something, right? But other than it's superhumans doing that stuff, right? But like the guys who can navigate at 130 through hairpin type stuff, F1 style, especially,
Yeah.
I'd even much more nominate those guys over like the NASCAR guys. I mean, I'm sure I'd piss people off with that, but I think turning both ways is quite a bit
Yeah.
more involved than
Rogue.
just left the whole time,
Yep. Yep. And that's fair. No, I appreciate that because
Mhm.
I can definitely I see where they're coming from, but I think even if we were to go out and go karts and race, I selfishly and confidently say that I will win that race every time. Like there's strategy, like
Against
there's
these
skill.
normal
Yeah,
people, or yeah,
there's
yeah,
there's skill involved in
definitely.
driving a car, maneuvering a car. I'm actually for America. Uh, I guess I could see auto racing being ranked sixth in that entire list. That's how it netted out: football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey, auto racing, and then figure skating, tennis, and golf. Is
Yeah.
again just very interesting.
The
Um,
tennis is a little interesting, right? The
yeah,
below figure skating, actually, that is
yeah,
pretty shocking, right? Like the fact that those two aren't flip flopped is pretty shocking.
and the survey. So Gallup, it doesn't. Says exactly they surveyed people right at the end of 2023, and
Yeah,
they asked Americans to name their first their favorite spectator sport.
yeah. I would
So
say that's pretty
yeah,
shocking. I mean, tennis it's always around, right? It's a
yeah,
staple. I would say figure skating kind of doesn't really exist other than the Olympics and Olympic qualifying, right? I mean, maybe
yeah.
I'm wrong. I mean,
Maybe it's the kids. Maybe it's their kids figure skating, and ice skating, and that's how.
yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, it's athletic. I
Yeah,
mean, they're great athletes. I'm not knocking any of that, right? It's super difficult. It's super skilled, all that stuff. But in terms of like going up against Serena Williams and stuff like that, like that's shocking, actually.
yeah, and what is it? Oh, I could get the data. I didn't even realize that, Todd. We're doing this live. I could like download the data probably from Excel and dive into it. I'm gonna do that
Gotcha. Yeah.
afterwards.
I
Um,
guess it's interesting too. Like, okay, does that account for, because we definitely had like a golden era of tennis when it was Sampras, Agassi, all that, right? Like, these men at the top. We also had
yeah,
Serena, Venus. Like, that was a wild time for American tennis, and it's shifted foreign quite a bit right
yeah,
now. So I
and
wonder if that possibly weighed in. I don't know. Like, they're polling it as of like right now, post Serena, post all these other people. I don't know, but
it's a great point. I think there's cycles just in everything, right? When it comes to
yeah.
dynasties, when it comes
Oh,
to countries, right, and people
yeah.
performing, at high levels, and
50 years ago,
yeah,
I think probably even 30 years ago, baseball was still dominant, right? It was
yeah.
still dominant. I mean, sorry, it was still baseball above football, probably
So
maybe even 30 years ago.
Todd, that is probably the best segue into the other chart, like on this
Yeah.
slide on this webpage was how have things trended? Because Gallup has
Oh,
actually
cool.
done this
Yeah.
survey every year for
Oh,
a
fun,
number of
fun.
years.
Yeah.
So the trend of the top three sports, and
Yeah.
I would say fortunately they're still in the top three sports, but it's football, baseball, basketball.
Yeah.
You are right, baseball. I'm gonna go back until
Oh, give me an.
1960, or I was
Oh,
gonna
okay. No, no,
yeah.
go ahead. Okay. The year where it sort of ticks over.
The transition was in the mid 60s.
Oh, that long
So
ago. Wow.
baseball. So I said football was
Wow.
41. Back in 1960, baseball was 35%,
Mm.
football was 21%, and basketball was 9%.
Yeah.
So
That's
baseball
pre-bird,
35.
actually. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So what's
Wow.
interesting, football has just taken over more share, if you will, of like favorite sports. Baseball is just taking nosedive off a cliff, and honestly since it's really been since the 1980s, it has been no higher than the teens. and it's
and
steadily
barely double
falling.
digits right
Yeah,
now.
yep,
Yeah.
barely.
Well,
It's right
I
at
always say
10.
that too. They always say like baseball fans are actually pretty old crowd. I think they always say like, if you just pick the average baseball fan or median, it'd be like 50 or something like that.
That's unbelievable because that also came up in the stats as well.
Oh, is that
That
right?
yeah, that
Okay, hopefully I
baseball
wasn't
is
too off of that. That was a wild guess, but
no.
what do they show?
I think so. Older adults, baseball. So I said baseball. I think was ranked 10. 10% of
Yeah.
everybody said baseball is never. Older people 65 and over have it at 16. All the other groups
Oh.
below 65, it's less than 10.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you have it down to
Yeah,
that level. Yeah, that's
yeah,
so yeah, so they're sort of artificially even inflating it a bit right now. Yeah.
yeah.
And
And I will go
yeah.
ahead.
No, no, good.
I was gonna say was another sport not in the top three, but I think that has seen steady progression over the last couple of years in terms of more younger people into it
Yeah.
is soccer and is
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah.
Those two have really
Yeah.
taken off when it comes to younger
And you know what
participants.
I think? Okay, slight theory. Well, I think I've heard other people talk about it too, but the uh the social media um friendliness or snippet friendliness of sports really everything these days matters a lot,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Basketball is amazing for it. This dude steals a ball, dunks on the other team, right? That goes viral
Yeah.
all the time, right? Football, some guy runs down the field, trucks four guys along the way, whatever, right? Or like those things, like some crazy Odell Beckham Jr. catch or something. Baseball, yeah, okay. There's the giant bomb home run or whatever, but in a lot of ways they kind of look the same too, right? I mean, I get it. Guys have different batting styles and things, but
Hmm.
one guy hits a home run, the next guy hits a home run. I mean, okay, it's just the balls flying out there in an arc, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they look pretty similar. You can make some crazy catch, right? Like especially like when you had like a Bo Jackson out there. Like
Yeah.
I know that's old reference, but he was different, right? Like that guy was doing stuff that looked different than other people.
Yeah.
I
There
haven't
are
seen a
some
Bo
great
Jackson.
athletes.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's probably less viral friendly, less social media friendly, less snippet friendly. So to me, that makes some sense.
Yeah, I think it's fair. And again, just interesting. Shows how things times have evolved. People have evolved, and probably also just what you had done when you were a child, whether you played something or watched something, what your
Yeah.
parents do. I think interesting, um, because in my opinion, yeah, baseball was just never high up there.
No, never
Just
for me.
for
No, I actually don't mind playing it. It's kind of fun. I don't particularly like watching it, especially on TV. The only time I watch it is let's say playoffs, World
yeah,
Series. I
yep,
think it gets a lot more interesting. There's way too much inventory. I think that's part of it, right? There's 162 games. It's
yeah,
way too much. When I look at that compared to football, right? Every game is this war,
yeah.
and it's like your whole season can pivot on like the one game. Baseball, I get it. Okay, down the stretch, yeah, like it's close now, but like game number 40, what does it
Yeah, is that
mean?
right? Yeah.
There's
It's tough.
122 games
Yeah.
left. Like, yeah, and like, yeah, I don't know. It just never did it for me, and just even the nature of the game itself. I mean, just watching it, it's yeah,
Wow.
it's
I think we've triggered some people,
yeah,
probably.
I'm sure we did. I'm sure we did. I mean,
Now,
yeah,
if
I
you
know
like
there's tons of
baseball, I mean, let us
personalities.
know.
Yeah.
Tell us why you like baseball. Shoot us a let
And
us
okay,
know
I'll
why
get
you
even
like
more
it.
controversial. You know what I
Yep.
think is
Go
sort
for
of
it.
one of the fatal flaws of it. Okay, football. There's a human thing tied to that, which is like it's a lot like sort of like a war. you have this army over here, the other army over there.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to gain ground, push them back. It's like this frontal assault or whatever, and the big boys are in there pushing each other around, right? Getting dirty, getting scuffed up, and they're trying to stop you from moving forward and scoring and whatever, like getting to the, in war terms, you're getting to
Yeah.
you're pushing them back across the river. You know what I mean? Like it ties to something like that. Basketball has some elements like that. I mean, okay, basketball doesn't fit quite as well. But baseball, it's like, okay, take this thing, throw it past that guy, but not just that, within this window, and then that window shifts depending on how tall the guy is. So I don't know. You ever hear that story? There was the really short dude, Eddie something. He was like 4'3" and or I don't know, 4'11" or something. And the Yankees or something put him out there one time, and he got walked because they couldn't throw it in his strike zone.
No, I did not hear that.
That was like some old story from the 50s or something. But it just has some fatal flaws like that where I just feel like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the list, and this was a recent list. I will say there's some other sports on here. Definitely didn't get really any interest. They have less than 0.5%. Just give you some examples: swimming, track and field had 1. Sorry, bowling was less than 0.5%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Fishing was less than 0.5%. So I mean, these are
is boxing fallen
1
that much? Oh,
yeah,
1. Okay.
1.
Okay.
And again, it's one survey, and I'm wondering if they I would have loved to know if they actually at least gave people the option to choose your top 3, rank them like 3 points for first, 2 points.
That would have changed a little bit for sure. Yeah.
Maybe they did, but
it's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah, but that is the list. And I'm not surprised. I think the difference between first and second, like you said, was pretty astounding or surprising.
Yeah, I would if you said it was like 40 and then it was like 18 or something. That's probably what I would have guessed. But yeah, that's pretty surprising.
And then our fellow people across the world, there is a world list, and then
I know how that shifts.
So it does shift, and this will be a quick, we'll do a quick top 10, and amount of fans is how this was ranked. Okay. So I tried to find something similar. So most popular sports ranked by total fans, and so the number 1 sport is. Well, here let's see how if you can name some.
Let me try,
actually,
right?
Let's do it this way. Yeah, I'll give you.
Let me try here. I will go soccer 1.
Okay, soccer's number 1. So
this
you get
is rest of world. This is
one.
Everyone else, not the U.S. Is that how this one?
You could. There is America's in here, but I would say this is rest of world. This is
I'll go soccer.
This is everybody.
Ooh, this is interesting. Now I think I will at this point go basketball 2. Because it's so international.
Basketball is in the top 10.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, this one may have to think a little bit. I like this though. You had no idea this was coming.
Let me try. I won't take too long, but let me try guessing like.
So I can tell you where basketball lands. How's that sound?
Yeah, that helps.
At least, basketball is 7th.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's lower than I would have guessed. I'm just trying to think. I wonder if it's one of these funny ones where it's like, is it still baseball because of Japan and South America and stuff? No, I don't.
Baseball's in the top 10. Baseball's top 10.
I would say I would not put it at 2. Even
8.
Okay. Still not like track. I still don't think it's tennis. Whoa.
I mean, I will say number 2 is a sport that we did not mention.
Wow.
I know you'll get it. Like if there was multiple choice, I think you'd get it.
Yeah. But oh wow, it's not No, it's like wrestling or something. No, no way.
It is not that.
Volleyball. I don't know. Volleyball.
Volleyball's in the top 10.
Okay.
It is fifth.
Okay. All right. All
It
right.
is fifth.
Read them out. Yeah, because this
All
actually is
right.
pretty tough.
Yeah. So we had soccer, what everybody else calls football. So that was number one in terms of number of fans. Cricket, number two.
Number two. Okay.
Cricket.
I mean, I know of cricket. Yeah. No way I would have guessed it's that high.
Number two.
Yeah.
Hockey is third.
What? Ice hockey.
It says hockey, so maybe the chances it could also be field hockey, but
yeah.
it doesn't tell me.
That is stunning over like basketball. That's actually both of those.
Yeah,
are pretty
it
surprising
doesn't
over basketball to me. Okay.
It doesn't tell me, but I think it does include field hockey. If that was, it's just generally called hockey. Then you got the one we talked about a little bit. Tennis is fourth, so just a lot more people into tennis than maybe what happens in the U.S. Volleyball, table tennis is sixth.
Oh, wow.
People love watching it. Wow. It's a thing. We clearly we're missing the boat here. Basketball is seventh. Baseball is eighth. Ninth is rugby. And then
I would have said I was contemplating rugby. Yeah, I was trying to think of like the 2 and 3 though. I knew it couldn't have been.
Yeah.
2 and 3. Yeah. Okay.
And then golf to round out the top 10.
Wow.
So I mean, golf is very international. I think we see a lot of people, PGA Tour, etc., just from all over the place.
Cricket has me floored.
Cricket is number 2.
I mean, I get it. Like, okay, sometimes it's like when China loves something, right? There's just so many people that can skew these things. I know India absolutely loves cricket.
Yep.
Australia and a couple other places.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't think that was enough to carry like that.
It's amazing. I know, like Australia and UK is what the article talks about. The US team just a couple weeks ago actually beat. I don't know who they beat, either India or Sri Lanka or some. I feel
one of the big boys.
Yeah.
Wow. I heard about the US doing something. I didn't know too much about it. Yeah.
Let's see who they won against. I don't know, but they're playing South Africa here tomorrow.
See, I was thinking it was interesting. I was thinking maybe something like track because there's the guy. You remember the guy, the javelin thrower
from India?
I think he won the Olympics.
Yeah,
he won the Olympics.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now. But he is by far the most followed track athlete in the world. He's 5 times Sha'Carri Richardson. Yeah, there's a lot of people in India. That is part of it.
I can believe it. So it was the U.S. team beat Pakistan.
Oh wow!
In cricket, and Pakistan was heavily favored.
On it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so this is actually the 20. I think it's the 20 and under championship. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
So very interesting from a world perspective, but you can clearly we see American football not as popular in that at all. But what about growing up? So now we've gotten to the list that had the U.S.
Oh wait, sorry, real quick.
Yeah,
where did
soccer
go to? Like, what number did it go to? What
so
percentage?
Soccer
is it like 60?
So it's not a percentage here.
Okay. My guess
it's like
is
most popular
could
sports.
Be like 60 on that list.
I'll say so. Said differently, soccer was about 10 times. Or is about 10 times more popular, according to this survey, than the 10th sport. Than golf. So it's not that much. So soccer to cricket is actually about a 40% difference. So about 1 billion more people like soccer than the next highest sport.
Yeah, that's
I think it's really interesting. And I think it just shows how, no matter where you are in the world, I mean, sports are part of life and just different sports, are that much more popular, maybe more readily available, etc. I think it's interesting. I have played cricket once. I'd like to play it more
I
often.
never
I
have.
think it's a,
Yeah.
I think it's a fun sport. It's just different. It's unique. It's
Yeah.
I don't know all the rules. I just want to hit a sixer. That's all I know. um, when it
And
comes to
there's no
childhood, though,
gloves,
right?
right? Yeah.
There's no wait. That's a good point. I don't know. Are
They
there?
catch it
Don't you
barehanded.
have? Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they
Yep.
catch it bare.
You're
I think
right.
they look at baseball and they're like, "Ah, these sissies or whatever."
That's a great point, actually. But when it comes to these sports, I think we've been focused a little bit more on the visual aspect, right? Maybe top sports,
Mm.
most fans, best, most watched. But what about playing, right? So I think
Yeah.
one interesting kind of little segment that I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll share mine later on. Is just maybe growing up, what was a sport that you really liked, playing or enjoying, or are there
Yeah.
sports you definitely enjoy playing versus watching?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the biggest shift for me is probably in soccer. I enjoy watching it.
Okay.
I
Yep.
definitely like watching it. I'm not one of those like religious where you watch every game in the English Premier. I'm following like that, but I watch it when it's on. But I played it a lot. I mean, that's the sport that I played the most. It started when I was about 6. Um, my dad was really good. We used to go on like training sessions all the time. We would go just midweek,
That's awesome.
just
Yeah.
go out to the local fields, and we were drilling, like taking shots from the 18 and just all this stuff, right? Like yeah,
That's
we actually
awesome.
we actually like trained on it quite a bit. Just all the aspects of the game, corner kicks, everything.
And was he into it? Like, I mean, obviously, it sounds like he was into it, but did he grow up playing soccer and that was
No,
just
no.
okay?
He was like a track and football guy. He was actually, he was a good athlete. Like in high
Okay.
school, he had, he was like had some of his high school records and that kind of thing, kind of guy. Um,
Yeah.
but he really watched football. I wouldn't say he watched a ton of soccer. I mean, we watch it when it's on. We actually went to some like USA games and things like World Cup games when it was here, that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, in terms of playing soccer, played all from a young age through high school and everything. Probably could have played in college. I don't know about, let's say, D1. I maybe could have been like, I'm convinced I probably could have been like the last guy on a D1 team.
Okay.
Maybe very little playing time or something.
You were
But
skilled. I mean, you
yeah,
played the sport.
I'm
It's
good at
yeah.
rising to the level of talent around me. If you put really good people around me for a while, like I I don't know, I feel like I can figure out a way to be effective in some way.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it
but
goes a long way
yeah,
being a team
I was a
player.
little burned out by the time I finished, like my high school career. Just some eh, politics and things came into it. It kind of messed it up a little bit. But yeah, I love that. I love playing football. I've always loved playing football. I think it's just an awesome dynamic sport. I've
Yeah.
always played like quarterback, wide receiver, safety kind of thing, like a ball hawk. Yeah, I just love it.
It's
Just
awesome.
just all the various aspects involved in it, balance, speed, agility, judging angles, and when you're throwing a ball and guy running and just dropping that in for
Yeah.
dropping it into the receiver, all that kind of stuff. And basketball, I love that too. Basketball, super skilled, super athletic. How about yourself?
Yeah. Growing up, so it was definitely more I'll call it watching instead of playing. At least with my dad, he played basketball and football growing up, and
Oh,
and ice hockey. So I mean, those were his three. When he came to the U.S., it was definitely, I should say, basketball and football. When he was growing up in Poland, it was ice hockey. Played on the pond, and he actually
wow.
got a couple scholarships to attend universities much further away from home, like in Ohio, Ohio State, and out near even Kansas,
Oh
to
wow.
play hockey.
Wow.
and he chose to stay much closer to home, to be close to family in case they needed him, and ended up going to Rutgers and played football there and played some basketball um,
Wait, he was
at Rutgers.
on the team.
He was on the
That,
football team. Yeah,
wow. I,
yeah.
I don't think I. Maybe you told me a long time ago. I don't think I don't
I mean,
remember
he
that.
didn't
Wow.
get much playing
Yeah, he was
time,
like a
but he was.
fullback or something, right? I remember
Yeah.
you telling me he was
Yep.
a fullback. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and he's got like
Interesting.
one really cool, black and white photo with them playing against Princeton
Wow.
and
That
him
is
out
pretty
there.
awesome. Okay,
So
but so not a lot of playing time, but I mean he was there, D1.
yeah, he
That's
was there.
that's super intense.
And I think it was cool for me. I wanted to play football when I was in high school. I said I could be at least a receiver or a kicker. That was what I had wanted to do. My parents had different ideas and said, "No, you're not playing. You get hurt. Whatever, fine." I thought about playing tennis. Didn't really get a chance to play tennis much.
Mm.
So, especially growing up, it was more like backyard type stuff. I enjoyed, playing catch. I enjoyed throwing a football around. I didn't really get involved in team sports or any athletic type stuff until college, actually. So
Yeah.
late bloomer, and
Yeah.
so that's where I picked up racquetball. Never played at all. Never even heard of it until college. And on February 19th of 2003, I'll always remember that day. Uh, Snow day on campus. They actually shut down campus, and my friend and I went to go downtown. We bought racquetball rackets because we saw our next door neighbors play. They were on the club team, and they were playing. They're very good, and it said, "Oh, this is really cool." So we got into the racquetball court and started playing, and it wasn't anything remotely close to what they looked like they were doing in there.
Mm.
The ball was running, hitting all the four different walls. We were trying to catch up to the ball. It looked like, I don't know, two pigeons trying to hit a ball. It just looked awful. But it was actually probably the best 2 hours we ever spent in terms of athletics and just getting exercise. And so that kind of stuck with me, honestly, after college and, into, call it normal everyday life. I played racquetball as much as possible. I loved it. It was great cardio. I didn't think about getting a workout in, and I was getting a workout. But ultimately, I really fell in love with running, cycling, which both of those didn't really make the list, at least the top of the list. Track and field is on there, but cycling I like. And then ultimately pickleball. Now I kind of hung
Mm.
up my racquetball racket, picked up a pickleball paddle, and been playing for the last couple of years, and it's great. Just a new
And
challenge.
I just wanted to add, like, I've had the pleasure of being smacked around by you in both of those games, racquetball, pickleball. I remember we played a few times, right? Back when we worked
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
Just went out. Remember we went with Too Tall Paul.
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah,
Gosh,
and
because
played a few
he
times, and yeah, dude, 6'11".
Paul,
But
I mean, Paul is great. Like it was
awesome guy.
fun to share those memories. Like
Yeah.
too, and do that.
But you
I loved it.
definitely, yeah, there was a lot of strategy going on. I mean, I've played a lot of tennis, and I've always, like, I guess I could probably get pretty good velocity on the ball and stuff, but I didn't really have the strategy, and so it was interesting. It was interesting to see you just kind of just sort of pick
It-
me apart, right? Like, like just yeah, just you were just like out thinking me all around the court and stuff. Like that was cool to watch.
and it's a interesting thing you said, statement you just made, because I came across an article of the number one pickleball player in the world, Ben Johns, and he
Mhm.
was saying he approaches the game more like chess and strategy.
Wow.
And I'm wondering if that's honestly kind of where I get, the sports that I tend to excel in or do well
Mm.
at. I feel like definitely, pickleball, I feel like I'm a solid player. Racquetball, solid. There's definitely strategy in both of those. If your opponent hits a certain shot, I'm going to go this way.
Yeah.
I think you could say that about a lot of sports. But in football, in soccer, there's just a natural athleticism that someone has to have to do
Yeah.
well in that sport.
Yeah. That's the minimum bar of entry. I mean, like, I have some. I guess one example of a football story, right? Just to put it in perspective of how super athlete these guys are. I went to
Yep.
Rutgers, right? And I played a lot of basketball there. We go to the gym a lot over on the Bush Engineering campus, and
Yeah.
occasionally like the football team would show up, or one or two occasions maybe. But there was always good runs in that gym. But
Yeah.
the one day I remember like some guys from the football team showed up. And there's a couple guys they were clearly like I wasn't even sure who they were. They're probably like third stringers or something. The one guy was clearly he was like he had to be like a fullback. It was like a fullback
Yeah.
type of build, maybe even like a middle linebacker or something. Um, 6 foot even, maybe 5'11", 230 kind of guy, something like that, right? One of these just and he comes down the court one time. Oh no, it was after game. Wasn't mid game, but it was like right after game. Just goes up and dunks. Like he just rises up two-handed,
Yeah.
dunk from this big burly guy. I mean, it doesn't look like it's different when a wide receiver does that or something, right? It's like they look like the guy that should be able to do that. He didn't look like the type of guy that should be able to do that. That's your like minimum level of
Yeah.
athleticism,
Yep.
like to be the guy who's not even great on a not great team. So imagine what the super athletes are like. Imagine what the guys who go to the NFL are like. It's insane. The athleticism is insane.
Yeah. I mean, my best friend was on the Penn State football team, and a couple of my other good friends were on the team, and just the workouts they had to do, day in day out to stay in shape, just in case something was to happen. And then one of them even got to make a NFL roster and practice with the
Wow.
team. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes too. I think that's should I don't know what the right phrase is here, but that needs to be noticed as well. Is there's one thing to like just be athletic and just be able to dunk a ball, hit a home run, or throw a 50-yard ball,
Yeah.
60-yard ball, and then there's all the work behind the scenes to actually do it and make it happen. That's a whole nother like I don't say skill set, but it's perseverance, it's determination, it's that consistency, showing discipline is the right word.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I think in a lot of sports, it's a pretty equal blend between the two, right? I mean, Tom Brady's a great example. It's like nobody says that guy's a super athlete. I mean, he does have a great arm, right? He had like
Yep.
a major league level type arm. So he kind of is
Mm-hmm.
actually, and he's 6'5". Kind of is, to be
Yeah.
honest. But he gets that knock of like, this like I mean, he's like the slowest guy ever, that kind of thing, right? But so much of what his greatness was the mental side. It was all the preparation and everything. So yeah, it's interesting.
Absolutely.
There's multiple sides of it.
Yeah, and there's a really cool documentary on the Patriots just in general.
Mm,
I forget if it's on Netflix.
mm.
I think it's on Netflix or Prime Video, and it's called Dynasty. And it's just
Yeah.
a really cool story about the whole experience and how it all went down, kind of in the 90s as the Patriots were building their dynasty up and just what that looked like. So
Yeah.
really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, these athletes, they're something else. There's a lot of athletic people, and there's so many people that in sports we haven't even touched on.
Yeah, it's just wild too. Like when you talk about, for example, the football players, right, or basketball players. Those guys are so fast. They're so quick. They're so fast. Their leaping ability. And then you go to you put them up against a track athlete, and they're slow. They're slow against those guys. Those guys are so much faster.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really it's crazy. It's really. I mean, a good example. Like I bet you, top female sprinters would, for just as an example, would probably beat just about every NBA guy. Let's say maybe a couple, could beat them. I know. Okay, there was that. Uh, oh God, who was the big Seahawks receiver? Who the guy with the rundown? Right, after the interception, he ran down the dude and
Metcalf, DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf. Yeah. He went out and actually ran a race against
Yeah,
right
I okay. Yep.
against real track athletes. He actually did pretty well. I think he ran like 10.3. So I mean, that is actually very fast. 10.4, maybe 10.3, 10.4, something like that. But that's still like that's a lot slower than like high end track guys, right? Like that's
Yeah, if you're on a
almost
9.8, yeah,
it's
9.7.
closer to fast women on the track than it is to fast men on the track. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's good, and there's so many amazing athletes just in other sports and disciplines that we haven't even touched on, and yeah, probably we need a part two.
I think so. Yeah,
And
yeah. We could
and
talk about this forever. So yeah. I think we have to figure out a way to put a pin in this one and come back to it because yeah, there's so
absolutely.
much more we could. I can add so much more just about my own personal sports history. So yeah,
Yeah, I love it. Sports are good, and clearly, it's a big part of our lives.
yeah.
And I think a lot of other people that are listening and tuning in, you've got also probably some amazing sports stories or how you got involved, and definitely we want to hear from you. Feel free to share it. What's your favorite sport, or what do you like playing? What do you? We didn't really talk about sports we dislike, and we're a positive type of
Yeah.
podcast, but maybe there is a sport or two that just wouldn't gravitate to. Heck, share that with us too.
Maybe even the debate
But
of like, let's say like who's the best athletes or right, like
that,
who could play other people's sports, that kind of, could you put a basketball guy on a volleyball court or whatever, that kind of thing.
yep.
That's an interesting
uh,
debate.
I actually have it. I think I like where you're going with this. I've got an idea. Maybe another podcast.
Yeah,
I think I got a fun
yeah,
idea too. No, this is it's great. Like you said, we could talk about this forever.
yeah.
But you know what? People have been very patient, and I think I heard a murmur saying, "When are they going to give out the high fives?"
I
Did
did
you
hear
hear
that too.
it?
I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought there was
Okay.
like a little interference, maybe like a helicopter flying by and they're, they got the CB going, but no, I think I heard that too.
Okay. So you want to give one out? Give them the people
I'll
what
give
they
one out.
want.
Yeah, I have a person. I mean, I think appropriately it is in the sports world, for this
All
episode,
right.
right?
Yeah.
And what I was telling you before is like I absolutely did not picture that I would be giving high fives out to this person previously. Because I thought they were
Okay.
a little bit of a bad sport. That was kind of, really how I felt about it. But I've kind of turned a corner on it. So I I will go and throw one out. I will give a high five this week to Angel Reese.
Okay. I did
So
not think you were going to
yeah,
say that name, and I'd
yeah.
love to
So
hear it.
sort of I guess you could kind of say the villain of women's basketball in a way. I think that's totally overblown. I don't think she's done it, really done much to just truly deserve that. But I think she embraces it anyway. So if you want to say that, I think it's actually kind of fine. Great for the league, right? It's good for popularity. But the thing about her that's so interesting, she was great at the college level, right? The way that like Tebow was great at the college level. Some consider him the
Mm-hmm.
greatest
Yeah.
college quarterback
That's
ever, right? Didn't really work out in the pros so much. I mean, he was good for that one season. There's a lot of people like that, right? A lot of people that were just totally ran wild in college, but it doesn't quite translate. I thought she was going to be one of those. I When you watch her play, it's not fluid. That's the difference. Like, I love watching a lot of these like pro Kyrie Irving's at the park and he's just playing pickup ball with a bunch of dudes, right? And you watch him. I mean, okay, he's different because he's so flashy. He's actually the wrong guy to pick. Just say Kyle Lowry or, just some middle of the road sort of guy, whoever it is, right?
sure.
Playing pickup. There's such a ridiculous efficiency in their movements. They don't dribble all around. They're not the professor out there. They just make one move this way, one move that way. It doesn't even look it looks like they're operating at 30% effort and they just blow by four people. They knife through your whole team and they're just laying up like they could score 80
Yeah.
points if they wanted to, right?
Yep.
Against non-pros. She doesn't look like that at all. Like, especially like on offense stuff, like it always looks difficult. It looks like if you put
Okay.
me out there, sort of almost rusty, haven't played in a while, but she is unbelievably getting it done at the pro level against the. I get it. It's different than the WNBA is not the NBA, but she's getting it done at the highest level that she can go up against. She's the best rebounder in the league. She's like the Dennis Rodman of the WNBA
That
as a rookie
I mean,
immediately.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
what
a
I call
very
her.
interesting comparison. I
Yeah,
like that.
I call her the Rodman of the WNBA. She's the best offense rebounder by far. She's the best rebounder overall. She scores some points. She's scoring like 12 points a game. It's not that bad. That's a decent amount of scoring and getting tons of rebounds. She gets some
Yeah.
blocks and stuff. Like dominates some taller women. Her game
Mm-hmm.
directly, like the same exact thing she was doing in college, she's doing against that next level. And if you took Caitlin Clark, you can clearly see that people are way faster. She doesn't look quick anymore. She's doing fine, but she also was like quicker than a lot of people at the college level. She's not at WNBA. She's definitely not quicker than the average guards. Um, she's finding a way to get it done. But yeah, Angel Reese, it's like it just directly translated. She's doing the exact same thing she's doing. So that's my high five. I'm just, I thought it's just cool that she was able to like do her same thing.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I think skills between college, high school to college, college to pro.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's right. It's tiers to this thing. There's levels
Yeah,
to this thing.
absolutely, and some people, can excel in that,
Yeah. They
in
just
that
keep
regard, and
finding
some
the way.
people,
Yeah.
some people it's tougher. So
Yeah.
I think it's great. I love it.
All
That's
right.
an
So
awesome
what
shout
do you
out.
got today?
Today's a little more, I'll call it sentimental.
Okay.
And it goes back to what I mentioned earlier in our pod, where I talked about my first car show, and I didn't get many. There were some people that took photos, or some people that asked questions about my car, but there was a lot, I'll call it better, more unique, more interesting cars that people were gravitating to. And oh my gosh, like, look at this thing. What really made my day, and gave it, have to give a shout out to, was this these two families. That this was at the end of the car show, so everybody, there was a small procession that was going to happen right at the end of the car show. They already gave the awards. Some people started leaving already. There were probably only 20 or so cars left, and kind of scattered. Everybody parks your car in a certain spot. Now they're all over the place. And one family came over, and the kids, were excited because there were some cars there. And the parents go, "Can they get a photo with your car?" Like, yeah, well, absolutely. And they go, "Yeah, they like it because it's so orange." It's not. And I allowed them to sit in the car, and they were like, "Oh, this is so cool." So they took photos, and sat in it. And we started talking a little bit, how I got the car, and whatnot. But it really, just to see the smile on the kids' faces, and just like, okay, yeah, that's awesome. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. And there was just not long after that, so they left, thanked me, and it honestly made my day. I'm like, this is the whole. I don't care. Nothing really happened special the first 4 hours. This is the best part of it.
Oh wow.
Was even just after they left, there was a couple that came up and talked to me about the car, asked me some questions like, how cool is this? We've never seen an orange Audi TT before, and what's the story behind it? So shared with him the story, and he goes, "Listen, I voted for your car as the best car on the show. Like,
Wow.
this one actually was my favorite."
Man. All right.
So that was awesome, and just genuine, like, down to earth people. So I showed them the trunk. They're like, "Oh, yeah, we're looking at getting a convertible. We drive these three wheeled motorcycles. It's not a Razor. I'm forgetting what this. It's not. I don't know what the brand is of a three-wheeled motorcycle. I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, those. Oh my God.
Gosh,
A slingshot.
and they didn't say the word slingshot. They
Okay.
said some
Okay.
other word, and I was
All
like, I
right.
don't know what that is.
All
But
right.
yeah, I mean, I would say similar. They
Yeah.
said it's great.
Yeah.
Much more balanced than a motorcycle. They love it,
Yeah.
but they miss having a convertible, a little more stability. And they're talking between that and like a Cooper S convertible. And I might have sold them on the TT. They love the fact the trunk space is big. The engine, everything, about the car, they actually really enjoyed. But they just were so down to earth, and really said, like, again, this car was amazing condition. It just looks beautiful. And I wanted just to have a chat for 5 minutes, and we got talking about other shows and things that they've been involved in terms of motorcycle rallies and whatnot. It was just cool, and like that really brought a smile to my face, saying, it's worth to spend an afternoon, worth to spend a day with people, random strangers. Met some really cool car owners as well, but just those two interactions right at the end of everything. Like I said, my car is nothing special. I mean, it's a bright color car. It's great. There were some awesome cars that were there. To have that interaction right at the end of the day, I was like, all right, this is worth it. Made my day.
Love it. That's
So,
great. Yeah, I mean, and you said it's not special, but I mean, it is. There's always something special in rarity, right? I think especially these days, like on the internet and everything, like people really love rarity.
yeah,
Something you don't see every day. There's a lot of value in that. So
it is definitely rare. It's special. I one thing I'll have to say, you might do a better job, or people leave some comments. Washing windows, right? So to get this car ready, I did like a whole wax, did everything. My neighbor helped me out. He actually cleaned the tailpipes. He has a special cleaner, and they look, brand new. Like this car was really, really awesome for the show. But I tried cleaning the window 3 or 4 times, and I just don't know how to do it. I do not know how to clean windows effectively and not leave like one, wiping smear on it. It looked a little foggy, so I cleaned it again. Still was foggy. I just cleaned it earlier today because it was annoying me, and there's still like some streaks on it. I don't know what I'm doing
my
wrong. I don't know how
sister
to
used
clean
to
windows.
tell me like newspapers as like some of the final strokes. I
Maybe.
don't know why, but like can reduce streaks. I don't know. You could try it. You could see maybe it works.
I might have to do. I just fun fact. I don't know how to clean windows properly.
Try a newspaper. See if go crazy with that. See if by chance that works. I don't know. That's what I heard.
I love it. I love it. Todd, with that wisdom, I think we've dropped a lot of knowledge and insight and opinions on this week's episode. It's been great. Hopefully you all enjoyed it as well.
Baseballs to be thrown at me this week. I'll be dodging baseballs this week.
All 3 fans come out.
That's okay.
It just baseball. I don't know. I agree with you. You said it earlier. Playing it, I think playing it is fun.
It is fun
like
to play.
It's fun to play.
And I actually I appreciate how hard it is. You get in a batting cage. Like I've gotten in a batting cage where it's 90 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's still not 90, 98. And it's a fastball every time. You know where it's going, right? If you have a person over there trying to hide the pitch, changing it up, I'm sure I'd look like an absolute idiot trying to hit the ball. But yeah, just watching it, like say on TV, I just don't love that much.
Yeah, the in-game experience too. Like it's a little bit better.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother episode. We got to get into that because I got my thoughts too.
Yeah.
But no, we're picking on baseball. There's there are good and bad to every sports. I know people probably make fun of pickleball. You're just hitting a wiffle ball around. I get it. So let us know in the comments. Let us know, what your favorite sports are, what you like, what you don't like, maybe some new topics that you want to hear, maybe some new, I'll call it background scenery. If you're not feeling what you see right here. But
maybe they want us to do a show on location in like Fiji or something.
If you want, you know what? I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. When we get 1,000 subscribers, Todd and I will do a show in a neutral location.
Live from Hawaii. Big island.
We'll make it happen. Would love to go to Hawaii. That'd be great. Don't tempt me.
All right.
So thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. Todd, thanks again for a bang up job. As co-host, you're crushing it.
Thanks for the
really
research.
Fun.
Good lists you found. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, really good episode. So wishing you all just a wonderful day. Have a great day. Enjoy. Be happy. Spread some positive vibes. Give out some high fives. enjoy it, and we'll see you on another episode here in the future. So thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good one.
All right.